Eugene Ebner, who had a chance to talk with Jefferson Packer of ACFEA Tour Consultants. Jefferson was able to offer some insight into the process of taking your course on tour and the value of working with ACFEA. Let's hear what they had to say.
Hi, I'm Eugene Ebner, and I am sitting here with Mr. Jefferson Packer, who is with ACFEA Tour Consulting. Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you, Eugene?
Great. It's nice to be here with you. I understand you just flew in and literally rushed over here to talk with me.
I did.
From San Francisco?
San Francisco. Yeah.
Right. How was your flight?
Very smooth.
Good.
Just like all the flights we like to have.
Good, right. Welcome to Denver. I know you've been here before.
I have.
Is this your first GALA Chorus Festival?
First festival.
Nice.
Very exciting.
And I like that even though we didn't know, you've got nice colors. I think this is rose, though, right?
I like to think of it as Nantucket red, but it's kind of like
okay, Nantucket red.
Yeah.
This is nice. Great. I understand you just got married, too.
In these pants.
Congratulations. We love to hear that.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'd like to touch a little bit on your background as also a vocalist before we get into being a tour manager.
Sure.
Because I know that ties into your knowledge, possibly of being able to create a really nice tour for individuals of choruses. So how long have you been involved in music?
Oh gosh, I've been singing since elementary school. And it was first in college that I actually toured with a choir. And that was to Europe, and it just made me believe in how powerful it can be. And I've sung ever since. I sing in several ensembles throughout the Bay Area in San Francisco. And I've also worked in management with orchestras and taken them on tours. So both of those angles feed into my current work, taking choruses and instrumental ensembles all over the world.
Wow, that's an amazing experience, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Now, how did you get affiliated and involved with ACFEA?
Well, I have known the owner of the company for some time. We actually sing together. And an opening came up in our San Francisco office. We have offices, main office in Seattle, satellite offices in San Francisco and Philadelphia, representing all of our North American groups.
Awesome.
We also have offices on all 6 continents for international tours.
Right.
But an opening came up, and I jumped at the chance to help groups go on the road. It's just an amazing, exciting thing for them to do.
Right. Now, when you say that you help create that, do you also at times go on the tours with them? Or
Sure.
Right.
Sure. This past March, I was in Finland and Estonia for
That's
the first
rough.
time. No, it's a very.
I know
I'm
it's worked
very
up.
lucky.
Yeah.
No, but it was wonderful, and I mean, just to see some of the groups perform on their actual tours is also such a reinvigorating experience for me to see the end result.
Yeah, I love that. Now, how long does like a process take? Let's say a chorus comes to you and they say, we really want to put on this tour. How many months can it take to really create and finesse where you're going and all the logistics of that?
Yeah, it can be a multi-year, very involved process. The larger the organization, the larger the scope of the tour. It may take several years to get various constituencies on board with the project.
Right.
We definitely recommend at least a year to 18 months, especially for any international tour. You can do a domestic tour in a year and still have breathing room.
Right.
But for some of our groups, it's been 5 years before they go on their first tour because it's a big, big thing
That's
to
a
undertake.
big deal.
No matter what we offer to assist with the process, the group itself has to be ready to engage in that level of activity.
Right. Now, when we talk about being here at the GALA Choruses Festival, my understanding is that ACFEA actually created the first tour for a GALA chorus in 1991.
Yes, Gay Men's Chorus of Los Angeles went to Russia, newly called Russia again, to Moscow and St. Petersburg, and it was an amazing tour, and we've been working with GALA groups ever since.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah. I can't, especially at that time, going over to Russia, what an experience that is for everyone.
Yeah, Los Angeles has always been one to
They're the go-getters, right?
Yeah,
They take the
yeah.
risk. Now, when we speak of tours, I know tours can be as maybe something as short as 8 days or 14 days or 21 days. What do you see on the majority of, maybe not so much even to start with the ones that go out of the country, but like, let's say they want to do like a West Coast tour, or they just want to some of the East Coast or whatever. How many days do you see and recommend for these groups to go on? Or does it depend on what they're looking for?
Well, all of our tours are customized to the needs of the particular group, and the scope is really up to them. There's so much wonderful, I call it work, but it's also fun, work to be done in any corner of the globe, including right here at home. You can support a fledgling GALA chorus in another city, maybe a smaller one than your own that just wants to have a collaborative concert. I mean, that's a tour.
That's true.
People coming to Denver. Everyone is touring here to Denver. So, I mean, this is really important that we travel within our own country and our own continent. So you could do an extended weekend or anything up to like 3 weeks if you want to take it over to Australia or South Africa or India. I mean, the world literally is our oyster.
I love that you mentioned that, because I don't think it always has to be, to start with especially, let's say it's a new group, a new chorale or whatever, it's the possibility and option to know, hey, start small. You could do state of Colorado, let's say they live in Denver, or different cities within the outlying areas of Denver, and like you said, bring another group involved in it, or premiere a new work. And I know that probably this is such an option and a way to get the new works out there.
Yes, and thanks to GALA, which is such a wonderful organization bringing choruses together, the possibilities for collaboration and within our own constituency are endless. I mean, you can visit each other and have wonderful collaborative concerts.
Yeah, and I love the fact that there's so many choruses within GALA, and that I know is such a nice platform for ACFEA that you can offer that and work together. Now, if you don't mind, I want to go a little bit more with the logistics because I find it interesting. So they come to you, you create the tour, you decide where you want to go, how long it's going to be. Obviously, you probably have different, vendors, hotel, places. Like, let's say you fly them to an area. How do you figure out who you're going to work with when it comes to transportation, motor coaches? I mean, do you build the relationships within the area and then go from there?
Yes, our company and many other companies like ours has a network of vendors throughout the world, such as, you say, coach companies. We have representatives with airlines, so we're very conversant in these details, and our hope and our aim for the group is to focus on where you want to go, leave the details to us, and figure out what you're trying to achieve politically, artistically, personally, spiritually.
That's true. Yeah, because it's the balance of all of those. Another thing that I know that because a lot of groups, it takes the time too, as you're creating it for them and taking the stress off and the technical and the management aspect and the destination and all of that, because a lot of them will have to do fundraising to be able to get to that point to be ready to do this. So it does. I think that's part of the process too. But I know even when I was doing in college, we would have choir tours, and I remember not only it being a pivotal point of my life of community, but knowing that I could go and share my talent with a group of people that I felt safe with, that I felt like it was a family, and that I was able to go to these different cities, even if it was just, from Arizona, because that's where I'm originally from, to California and back.
Yeah.
Right. Now, back to your involvement. Let's say, okay, they see this video right now and they go, you know what, we haven't done this, we want to do this. What is the best way for them to actually work with you?
Well, just contact us. Get the conversation started. And I can't emphasize enough that it is a conversation, and some conversations may start and stop for a year and then start up again. The important thing is that every group at least consider the possibility of touring and find out from us what's involved, because in the absence of knowing what a tour company can do for you, it's a very intimidating prospect. Or you may think it's easier than it is if you haven't been through the process. So it's always a really great idea. Companies such as ours exist to educate
Right.
prospective and current touring groups about what it would be like to go on the road.
And that's really important to the education piece. Do you have step-on guides from the destinations that come on and educate them, like commentary or?
Yep, we have what we call couriers, ACFEA. That's a term specific to us. This is someone who's with the group the entire time, from the moment they arrive at the airport to the moment they check back into their return flights. And in that time, you'll have local guides, offer sightseeing tours, basically whoever is needed to execute the sightseeing and the performances.
Right.
As you say, steps on board with the tour as needed.
And there's so much to that, because the aspect of, okay, we've got the performances lined up, venues, but then while they're being able to present their new works or their concerts, it's nice for them to enjoy the vacation and learn about where they're going, especially if they've never been there, or even out of the country, obviously.
Yeah. For many people, it's their first time to a certain destination. For most groups going on tour for the first time, it's the first time the singers have also gone on a tour too. So it's just, the energy's palpable, it's exciting, and you definitely want to have someone who knows where the bus is coming.
Exactly. That's a big job.
Yeah.
I've done that before, so I really appreciate and value what you bring to the table. What is out of all of the tours that you've created, is there one that kind of stands out that's been really memorable and special for you in the sense of being a part of that?
Well, I have yet to manage. I've been with the company for 3 years, and so many of our GALA tours are legendary around the office. So I'll say that by hearsay, not having managed a tour myself and very eager to manage one. As we say, Los Angeles going in 1991 to Russia.
That's huge.
That's huge. And the Boston Gay Men's Chorus also tends to make a splash where it goes. It went to Poland. And
I was just talking about that today, and with Ruben. And he was telling me about it.
Was he talking about Istanbul as well? They just got back from Istanbul, and during that awful rubber bullet pride cancellation. So they've traditionally really pushed the envelope on.
I think they have, and I'm glad you brought that up, because to me that is not only life-changing for them, but that is something that will change many people's lives, especially here at the festival, with their story and the music that they're presenting. See, that's what I love about the collaboration, the community aspect that you're bringing to the table.
And I'll say, as someone who, had a working knowledge of Turkey, I was following their tour as it happened, and I followed blow by blow as that whole scene with the police rolled out, and I got to hear so many stories from Turkish people. One boy had brought his parents who were supporting him for the first time, and they were turned away, and so many heartbreaking stories.
Yeah.
But they also knew that the Boston Gay Men's Chorus was in a hotel down the street because they wanted to help them celebrate. So that kind of solidarity goes a long way.
It really does. And that's why I love for the fact that we're all coming together again. Whether you're a tour manager or a conductor or a composer or all of the above, right? Because you're bringing your gifts and your talents together to make the difference. So on a personal level, is there anywhere that you really have your eyes set on that you want to travel to?
Well, I'll tell you one thing I'm incredibly excited about with this conference is the Beijing Queer Chorus coming here. I was in Beijing for ACFEA. I know, tough life.
I know, again, I'm like, oh dear.
And a representative of the chorus took me around Beijing and was so gracious, and I can't wait to reciprocate with her in Denver. And the San Francisco Gay Men's Chorus has just announced that it's touring to China in 2018.
Oh, cool.
So they're going to collaborate.
Well, that's great, because you're in San Francisco, too. So that's perfect.
Of course. It's
awesome.
A perfect fit.
Well, I love that. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. Again, if you could tell our viewers the website. Obviously, it's ACFEA.
Yeah, so it's a long acronym, and it's a little hard to remember, but fortunately all the letters are lower than G, so you can sing it. ACFEA.com.
Now, but that's catchy, and it's easy to remember.
A little sad sounding. Maybe you could make it an F sharp, ACF sharp EA, but you know.
Well, I'm really glad that you spent time with me today, and I think it's amazing the work that you're all doing.
Thank you so
And
much, Eugene.
Enjoy the festival and enjoy married life.
Thank
I
you
just
very
got
much.
married a little over a year ago.
Mazel tov, we're the same age, and we just recently got married.
You mean 22?
And we're both wearing pink.
You mean 22?
Oh, yes, of course.
Plus 20. High five. All right. We'll be right back after these messages, and make sure to stay tuned in for more of GALA Choruses Festival 2016.